Alrighty, welcome back everyone to the losers match here for Group D of the FX Open Invitational number 6. I am Unstable, joined here by Lillian for this set, and we are going to have JjakJi up against Yu-Gi-Oh! This is going to be a very interesting matchup, this one. Yu-Gi-Oh! Of course falling to King Kong, StarTale's King Kong, and JjakJi falling to Pong Pong Prime in their initial matches. Let's get straight into it. We have JjakJi down here at the bottom left as our blue Terran, and then of course Yu-Gi-Oh! Up here at the top right as our red Zerg. Now, this is an interesting game to come up because Yu-Gi-Oh! Hasn't really had that much success in GSL. Like, he's had some highs and lows and always ends up in the worst possible groups for him. Whereas JjakJi is, of course, the GSL November 2011 finalist, taking out Lenok in a TVZ. So, it's going to be very interesting to see how this match plays out. He got a little bit too greedy and was cutting too many corners versus Pong Pong, but Pong Pong's TVT style really just hard countered JjakJi's, really. Like, the things that he was cutting corners with were pretty much perfectly countered by Pong Pong. So let's see if Yu-Gi-Oh! Does the same thing, but I don't think he will be.
No. What Boom Boom was doing was weird, man. It was good. It was extremely good, and it worked very well against the style that JjakJi was playing. But it wasn't standard, and I definitely don't think we're gonna see the same style coming out of Yu-Gi-Oh! Here, who is going for a pool first. Wow. That is different from what we usually see, but it is a very safe thing to be doing, of course. Maybe this is how he plays standard Zerg versus Terran. I don't really know. Maybe he's doing this because this map is so, so good to proxy barracks on, like we saw JjakJi do earlier on.
Well, JjakJi's always been going, in the last two games we saw for him in this matchup, went for Command Center first, and that could help out a little bit for Yu-Gi-Oh! But so far, it's just pretty safe play from both of them. That's all I'm really seeing from them so far. I did just see some right clicks down at the bottom of the ramp, so it looks like JjakJi's actually... No, he's going to change his mind and put the command center up here on the high ground. There we go.
Yeah, safe thing to do, of course. Putting it down on the low ground makes it a little bit easier to attack for Zerg players, and especially now when JjakJi sees that there has been a pool first, there could be early... Well, there's actually 6 Zerglings on the way. Interesting. Those 6 Zerglings are not going to be able to do too much since JjakJi has chosen to make that command center on the high ground and make a wall off on top of his ramp that those extra 2 Zerglings, or maybe even 4 Zerglings that were produced out of Yu-Gi-Oh! Are not going to be able to do too much, but they will get to scout everything really quickly. 2 Zerglings chasing that one SCV down. That SCV will probably not make it out of there alive. It's going to go in a loop and probably scout for the third. Yes, the SCV is gonna try to scout that third timing from going down.
Now, notice how JjakJi's command center is slightly to the right of where the vision will be if their Zerglings decide to try and run past these Marines. It's very frustrating to see, like, sometimes Terrans will misclick, like, misplace it, and it's in the scene at the top of the ramp. It's such a frustrating thing to see have happen. But at the same time, we don't see a third hatchery just yet from Yu-Gi-Oh! He doesn't really realize what's happening up in the main base here just yet. We got a factory going down here for JjakJi, and notice the supply depot placements for JjakJi. It's really the downside of spawning in this position, but he can't actually make an add-on to this. He's going to have to lift his barracks and move it if he wants to put a reactor down. Just like that.
Yeah, it's annoying, man, when you spawn here after... it's weird that those things... are still in StarCraft, in my opinion. I think that both spawn positions should be equal, and you should never have an advantage or a disadvantage based on your spawning position. But of course, it's a really, really minor thing. It's really, really minor, but it's still there, and it's a good thing to be pointing out. JjakJi is going to be finishing up that reactor right now, and we'll be getting out some Hellions in a second. Gas now being taken on the other side of the map. For Yu-Gi-Oh! He's playing how many queen style? Well, he's got 4 out on the field right now, so he's doing things a lot different from what we've seen out of Boom Boom. Boom Boom only got like 1 or 2, only 1 extra queen to spread some creep, and instead invested into a lot of Zerglings. But that's basically what he did. Instead of making 2 additional queens, he made about 300 minerals worth of Zerglings before taking his third base, and it was working out for him very well, as we've been able to see in the games versus JjakJi. But Yu-Gi-Oh! Playing the more standard style, as we know in present day Zerg versus Terran.
Yeah, exactly. And notice the bunker placement here for JjakJi. It's very common for this positioning on this map for a lot of Terrans now. It's pretty much impossible to take down without a whole heap of banelings. And even so, because you have to go through the supply depot first. And oh, look at this. We actually have Yu-Gi-Oh! Seeing that third command center Actually, he hasn't actually seen the natural one. There we go. He has seen it with the workers mining here at the same time. So we see a lot of creep spread coming out now from Yu-Gi-Oh! Roach Warren down. Roach Warren is an interesting choice, but it will help defend against these Hellions quite nicely. A lot of Zergs these days are just purely relying on their queens to defend against Hellions, which works out quite well in a lot of cases. But it really depends on your positioning, because if there's too many Hellions, they can just walk past and they'll be like, okay, you can kill 2 or 3 of us. I'm still going to kill your entire drone count.
Yeah, you have to be so careful with those Hellions. Always, it's, you know, those run-bys with Hellions, it's not as common to do that anymore, because a lot of Terran players will assume like there's a queen on the ramp, assume there will be either roaches out or the queen block on the ramp and stuff like that. We'll have to see what Jakji is going to do with these 4 Hellions. He could go into the 3rd base, try to snipe a few drones there, but with the first roaches now hitting the field, there are, how many on the field right now? 3 roaches on the field, 4 more coming. Are we going to see Yu-Gi-Oh! Actually play a roach style here, or is he just making a few roaches to defend against the Hellions?
That is a very good question, actually. We do see that this orbital commander is about to finish up for the 3rd one for Jakji here, but looking at the supplies, it looks very standard. Like, he hasn't been able to do much damage. We, of course, have that Banshee on the field. Where is he? I'm trying to find where that
He was just getting a few kills
there
at the natural. Yeah, they got 3 worker kills. Banshee's not going to be flying out there. The Queen's chasing it away. There's an Overseer trying to keep the Banshee inside. There's no cloak out on the field for Jakji, so that Overseer is not going to be needed to spot that Banshee. The Spire is coming up for Yu-Gi-Oh! Here. Interesting. And by the way, I was just noticing on the production tab that Jakji went for like 3 command centers super early on, and then he went straight into double engineering bay. So his production, his stim, and all of his upgrades are going to be very, very late, and his army is like, it's so small right now. It's like a siege tank, 3 marines, and a few Hellions.
Yeah, exactly. Alrighty, so so much tech coming out here from Yu-Gi-Oh! At the moment. Ling speed, which was started extremely late. Double +1, Baneling Nest, and Spire on the way. And this is going to be interesting because both of them sitting pretty passively at the moment. The Hellions for Jakji stopped the creep spread from going out quite significantly, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Is now only just being able to get his creep down to the bottom of that ramp, and it looks like he's actually going to take a 4th extremely quickly. Well, actually not really quickly, because we're already like 11 minutes in the game, but yeah, you get my
still
point.
Relatively early.
Yeah.
Yep, so that base has now been dropped down at the 4th base. And Yu-Gi-Oh! Is going to be able to reap the benefits out of that base in a bit. Of course, it's a good decision to be making. He saw the early 3 bases of Terran and might as well grab himself an early 4th base. Macro Hedge coming up as the first Mutalisks have hit the field. Is Jakji in any way, shape, or form prepared for this? Does he have turrets? I don't think he does. He doesn't really have turrets, and he doesn't really have that many Marines yet either. So maybe these Mutalisks are going to have a bit of a window to do damage here. Missile turrets, of course, now being started immediately, because Jakji was not expecting these Mutalisks to be showing up. It's not a very popular style to be going for Mutaling Baneling anymore in the current meta game. It's really all about infestors, but we do still see it sometimes. The old-fashioned Mutalisk Baneling Zerglin style.
Yeah, absolutely. Alrighty, so we do see a drop down here at the natural here for Yu-Gi-Oh! Though, as he's going to be picked up. There's a couple of drones. Does see that infestation pit though. We got the creep spread starting to push forward now here for Yu-Gi-Oh! He's going to get into the middle of the map. Jakji doesn't look like he's actually planning on taking a 4th base anytime soon, by the looks of it, but he does have quite a nice production facilities back in his main. We do see the units being dropped down here in case the mutas are actually going to come in. That is a big mistake, just lose 2 of them and almost 3, but here come the Lings to come in and help this out. But Jakji targeting down those mutas, hitting another one before his units are cleaned up. That was actually quite nicely done by him there.
Indeed, that was really well done. He focused down a lot of those mutas with his Marines. Bit of a mistake there by Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Look at the production tabs, by the way, for both players. They're in the way of my scoreboard, man. I can't even see them properly. So much income, of course, in the early game. Both players playing very economic styles, and they're able to afford everything at the same time. Upgrades, units, additional structures, creep doomers, and even a 13-minute hive is going down. That is pretty uncommon when you play Baneling Muta to be going into this early of an hive. It's pretty ballsy, man. We're gonna see those Ultralisks, I guess, hit the field. I don't really know, man. Is he actually going to try to go for Brute Lords this early on with this
I don't
army
know.
composition?
But he is actually going to come into the third base here of Jakji's with these banglings. Whoa, big indecision. He's actually going to get caught from behind. He really should have committed there, and now he's actually going to lose quite a few units. Oh my god. He actually lost pretty much all of those banelings. Didn't really do much damage at all because the bunkers are still there. That is the worst possible thing that could happen. We do see a drop down here at the fourth base, and looks like Jakji's going to follow this up. He is about 30 supply up now, and 13 Marines at a time. That is probably the worst possible thing that could have happened for Yu-Gi-Oh! Just then.
Yeah, he was trying to attack and put some pressure on his opponent while he was getting out the hype tech, but it didn't really work out. He lost so much and didn't really kill anything. The units lost that heavily favoring Jakji right now, as he's going to be setting up to deny the fourth base. I don't think there's much Yu-Gi-Oh! Can do to actually keep this base alive. The position for Jakji is too good, but he's going to try anyway. Everything is rolling in there. The Bailing's trying to connect with the Marines. They're doing a decent job, but still a lot of stuff is left alive here for Jakji. 150 supply for Jakji and only 1-4. But the last siege tanks will be able to get cleaned up, and the Mutalisks might even clean up most of the Nedvacs here.
He did actually defend that attack with some really lucky Baneling hits, but it's this next wave that's really going to really frustrate him here, as he doesn't really have anything left. Looking at the units tab, it's 8 Lings and 4 Mutas. That's all he actually has. And looking at the army tabs here, 84 to 41 in favor of Jakji, and he's not going to give him any time. He's going to come straight into it. Look at that.
Yeah, he's going to be scanning it to take out some creep tumors and snipe the queen as well. The Banelings have not finished up, but there's 2 siege tanks in the back. Do we see the focus fire on the Banelings? Yes, we do. The siege tanks take most of the Banelings out. Only 1 Baneling left alive, but there's still about 16 Marines here. The Mutalisk, of course, not going to be able to engage.
Oh, the Overlords.
Immediately again. Overlords going down as well. Unstable, good point. But no supply block yet for Yu-Gi-Oh! As he had more than plenty. The hatchery is forfeit. The Marines are still focusing down Overlords, and now the supply block is coming close to happening here. An Infestor pops out, dies before it can do anything, and this situation is looking very grim for our Zerg, who tried to rush up to Hive Tech, who tried to go for those Broodlords super early on in the game. Jakji just hitting a wonderful timing.
Absolutely. So we do see him moving forward here now, just very so steadily with all these tanks. There's other Infestors, there's quite a few Infestors on the field now. However, they do not have the Pathogen Glands upgrade by the looks of it.
They do not? Oh.
Oh no, they do, sorry. It's just they must have just used some Fungals here, as I wasn't looking on the screen. There we go, it's Fungals going down on those Marines, and it looks like he's going to go for it, but there's so many tanks. Oh, he's actually unsieged at the worst possible time, and this is exactly what Yu-Gi-Oh! Needs, but I don't think there's going to be enough units to actually end up finishing this up. There are 2 tanks, more reinforcements coming through here. And
is it going to be enough? Well, even if he does clean this attack up, let's face it, he's too far behind. The 4th base is going up for Jakji. He's getting his 3-3 upgrades. They're actually finishing in about 5 seconds, and then we're going to have 3-3 Marines going up against, well, a Zerg player basically on Infestor tech with a few Zerglings and Banelings mixed in. He is trying to get those Corruptors and Broodlords out on the field, but I don't think he's going to have enough time. Jakji keeps on pushing into the 3rd, trading in a very cost-effective manner while he's establishing his 4th with the Planetary Fortress.
Yeah, he's also cleaning out quite a lot of this creep down here at the bottom. There's too many Marines coming through here. He's going to lose this macro hatchery instantly. There's a lot of Infestors left, but they are starting to get whittled down now one by one as he's moving forward, and it looks like this is it. There's the GG coming out here from Yu-Gi-Oh! And Jakji will take down game number 1. That was actually quite a good game. So let's jump into game number 2 with just after our 2-minute commercial break. Stay with us.